Hi everyone. In this video, we're going to read the next chapter of Attack of the Tiger. Chapter 9, Mapping Out Evidence. That night, Dad came in after I was already in bed. He whispered, "You awake, Nolan?" I sat up. "Did they catch him?" "No." He sat on the edge of my bed. "I'm afraid those names you gave me didn't turn out much." "Nothing?" He sighed. "Just some indignant parents." "They were mad?" He nodded. "Especially the Vosses." I lay back down and hooked my big stuffed gecko in the crook of my arm. "Oh, sorry." "It's okay." He ruffled my hair. "Good night, champ." He ruffled my gecko. "Good night, gecko monster." "His name's Sticky, Dad, and he's not a monster." "I know that," he laughed. "Now get some sleep." "Sleep? Ha." He just riled my brain all up. Was I wrong about the sixth graders? I tried to remember everything Bubba had said in the bathroom. Had he just been talking big to show off to Max and Kevin? Or did he really know who had tagged Mr. Green's van? Call it superhero sonar, I don't know. But by now I was clicked into Bubba and his evil ways. And I was pretty sure he hadn't just been talking big to Kevin and Max. And so what if none of the sixth graders had helped the police? Since when did villains volunteer information to the law? No, I still thought one of them was the tagger. But which one? I started picturing all the places dumb baby faces had shown up. I tried to put them together in a mental map, but I kept getting lost in my own head. So I crept out of bed, turned on my computer, and dialed up the internet. Maps? Click. Enter address? I typed in our zip code. Click. A map of half the state appeared on the screen. I zoomed in until it was just Cedar Valley. I covered my printer with my comforter. Shh. I clicked on print and rang, 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 rang. It was still louder than anything. I flipped off the monitor, grabbed the printout in my comforter, and jumped back in bed. Nobody showed up. So I got out of bed again, flicked on my flashlight, and started putting X's on the map. One where the school was, one on the bridge, one at Old Town Square, and one at the Talder Park. Then I went back to the computer and typed in the address of the latest tagging that had come in on Sarge's radio, 512 Highland. And when I knew where 512 Highland was, I added the last X to my printed map. If only I knew where those four sixth graders lived. I cracked open my door and listened for noise from my parents' room. Not a peep. I tiptoed down to my mother's desk, found the phone book, and sneaked back to my room. Shh. I started looking up names, and pretty soon I figured out that I couldn't figure out a thing. I didn't know any of the sixth graders' parents' names, except for Dr. Voss. Hers was Ivana. But there weren't even any Vosses in the book. So now what? Maybe I could hack into the school's computer database and find out where they lived that way. Or hey, why didn't I just call my sidekick? He'd had all four of them in class before. I dug through the Greens. There were a lot of Greens living in Cedar Valley, but only one E Green. I checked the clock. 10:45. Way too late to call. Unless, of course, you're a superhero. And then it's never too late to call your sidekick, right? But how was I going to call without being heard? The phone on Mom's desk is a corded one. Portable one is in Mom and Dad's bedroom. Then I remembered. I still had Mom's cell phone on my backpack. I dug it up. I flicked it open. I punched in Mr. Green's number. On the third ring, I realized what I was doing. Arr, I was calling my teacher at 10:49 at night. He was gonna kill me. Before I could hang up, someone answered. Hello? The voice didn't sound sleepy. It sounded jumpy. Uh, Elmo? I said, just in case there was another E Green living in Cedar Valley. What's that? Then I guess it registered because he said, Yeah, who's this? Shredderman, I whispered. Sorry it's so late. There was a moment of silence. Then, what's the square root of 22,801? 151, I shot back. Well, hello, Shredderman, he said. You take this pretty seriously, don't you? Truth and justice are not to be taken lightly. My voice sounded older, deeper, like it wasn't even me talking. True. So what's going on? Is everything all right? I need some information. I buried my head under the comforter and whispered, don't ask a lot of questions. Just help me if you can, okay? This, uh, this has to do with your van. Go for it, Shredderman. I need addresses for Carl Blanco, Manny Davis, AJ Penny, and Ryan Voss. They were all in your class last year. Ryan Voss? Uh-huh. Hmm, he said, and I could tell he was thinking about a dozen things at once. Hold the line, okay? I've got last year's records in my file cabinet. It took about 5 minutes, but when he finally picked up the phone again, he said, got him. Ready? Yes. I grabbed a pencil and scribbled the addresses, then said, thanks. I trust you'll use the information with respect. Giving it out puts me in touchy territory. You understand? I understand. I hung up and got to work. One by one, I found the sixth graders' addresses on the internet. One by one, I marked them on my map. When I was done, I could see that AJ Penny and Manny Davis lived quite a ways away from the places the graffiti had been sprayed, especially from the purple dumb babies that had shown up that night. But Ryan Voss and Carl Blanco both lived nearby. Could Ryan or Carl really be the tagger? I thought for a minute, then decided. Helping the police hadn't done any good. It was time to try it my way.